I'm not sure if we should cut out this massive pause for you drinking, or if I should just talk or say something worth having.
Right, we return again to the LHC podcast with me, Lewis, and with Hugh.
Hello, yes, and we can now move back on to RahXephon then.
On to RahXephon, and we are moving on to episodes 9 and 10, which meant that I had to swap a DVD around. I don't know if you did.
Yeah, no, I had to swap a DVD between 9 and 10, and I also noticed that the third DVD, which is what we reached with episode 10, is the first of them that only has 3 episodes, and as such was irritatingly low value for money compared to the 5 that I got in the first one.
Yep, back during the day, you young'uns don't realise this, but we had to deal with only 3 episodes. I mean, that's kind of a huge amount of episodes. 3 episodes is huge in Japan, if you get a DVD with 3 episodes on it.
I know, it's 2 normally there, isn't it?
2 or 1.
1?!
Yeah, for big OVAs, you generally get them in ones.
Maybe big OVAs that are longer than 20 minutes, but you can't say 1 20-minute show. Also...
Well, not 20-minute show, they'd be about half an hour, though. It would just be a half an hour thing. Like, Furikuri was 1 episode a DVD.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. It was 3 DVDs here, 2 per disc, and everyone was still like, that's such a massive...
It wasn't over here.
It
was only ever released here as a complete edition. That one was only in America.
By I mean over here, I mean in the US.
English-speaking world.
Most of my DVDs were American imports that I got from a little shop in Leeds that is now shut down.
Ah.
But as you say, oh, you young'uns won't know this, but you young'uns probably won't even have all these DVDs.
Yeah, you'll be streaming them on your Netflix.
Streaming these days, isn't it?
Yeah, streaming on your Netflix.
And your Crunchyroll.
Well,
to be fair, Netflix is getting quite decent at anime now. It's got Death Note and Psycho Pass and a couple of others that are things I know the names of and accept are good.
It has things I recognise.
Yeah!
God, we are sounding old.
We are old. Alright, I'm buying a house soon. That's old.
That's good, dude. That's getting to be an adult. Good on you.
Actually, that is relevant to bring up because did you look at the photo? The house that I'm potentially buying has a fountain right outside, so my view from my balcony, because I would have a balcony, would go directly over this fountain, and the statue of the fountain is a giant Jupiter ball.
Oh yeah, no, I saw that, yeah.
So I have Tokyo Jupiter potentially in this place I'm looking for.
Oh, that's
so
cute.
I thought that was a sign that this is definitely the place I should go for. Or it was a sign that I should avoid this place completely because it's full of mullions. I haven't decided which yet.
Well, you could suffer from time dilation, which brings us kind of neatly onto episode 9, which has a bit of that.
Not just a bit. Episode 9 is the first of the Trippy as Balls episodes.
So okay, good. We'll have a lot to talk about then, if you think this is Trippy as Balls.
It's just... Alright, yeah. Okay.
So, episode 9, start off with, and I just realised I've put him down on my notes as newspaper guy because his name is difficult to pronounce, but I forgot that...
Just call him reporter. Look, I've been calling everyone abbreviated names. I have Uncle, Reporter, Strange Science Man, all the rest of it.
Strange Science Man.
There's also Evil Dude who looks like a snake.
I like him. He's got a cool name, which is his last name is Futagami. So yeah, we've got Futagami visiting people, and you hear him talking over about Spirited Forth, which is, and it is a thing that I think they invented for RahXephon, which is their version of being spirited away. Now term that
when people who have been spirited away come back was what he was saying.
Oh really? No, in this one, in the subtitle one, he says literally the difference between the opposite of being spirited away. So I guess he does say people who have been spirited away then get spirited forth.
This is where I would make a Spirited Away reference, but I've never actually seen the film, so I'm going to leave all the Spirited Away references to you for this episode.
Well, this is interesting, of course, because they don't say Spirited Away in the way that you would say Spirited Away when you're referring to Spirited Away.
Oh God, so much!
Because what you do is you stick whatever you want that is doing the taking away, and then you add the verb, which I can't pronounce, fangashi or whatever it is. Those who remember Higarashi no Nako Koro ni remember that they use spirited away by demons, because they literally, instead of sticking yokai in front, spirited away by yokai or by spirits, they say spirited away by ogres. So they say spirited away by oni. And in this one, he says by kami, so by nature spirits.
Right. Okay. I don't know enough Japanese to get this.
They wouldn't say that.
This conversation is now trippy as balls.
They would not say that in the English one, would they?
No, in the English they just say spirited away and spirited forth.
It's one of those ones that we really don't have an equivalent word for, so you always end up reusing them. If you want
We
to really
also-
know, in the next episode it gets even more interesting, where a Japanese word for vase was different to the one that I remember, and I remembered my word was a word for a slightly larger vase. But we'll get to that.
Fascinating.
We'll
We'll
get to that fascinating
We'll
part.
discuss that in depth. So anyway, we should also mention the name of this episode, because my name for this episode was Sanctuary, and yours was...
Small Shrine of Time. Toki
Yeah.
no Hokara.
Which again, trippy as balls.
Yeah.
Small Shrine of Time, my ass. Anyway, so we have newspaper guy...
So Futagami goes around, he's chatting to people, he's talking about Spirited Away, but he's mostly on his own, doing a bit of his detective-y stuff.
Yeah, but he only ever does his detective-y stuff about stuff he already knows.
Yes, almost everything he goes around asking people, he seems to already know, which is why everyone says he's pretty much Columbo.
Yeah, it's basically he got the show notes.
Yeah.
Someone sent him the script for the series, and he's just gone, "Oh, really?
Oh, is that everything?"
So that's why he knows everyone written down fact-wise, but when he actually meets them, such as with Ayato, he doesn't realise who they were in the show until he reads the notes on there.
They say his name, he goes, "Oh,
Random
you're
bits,
that dude."
Well, you're the one that's going to kill everyone! I mean, hello, Mr. Hitler.
So anyway, that's actually a very brief moment. We kind of pretty much immediately cut after the title drop to Ayato doing totally not a synchronization test. What was great is he's there with Itsuki, Makoto, and
Sayako.
Sayako. They say, "Ooh, you know, that shield of light would be useful to analyze. That thing you used in the last episode. Could you rate it for us?"
Oh, no problem at all. I could totally do that. Look how smug I am. At which point he then seems to be trying to shit himself.
This time he seems to have gotten his thing from Dragon Ball.
I know. No, I'm afraid the RahXephon's just dropped some exhaust out the back. I'm not really sure what you were going for there, but it's not a shield. Yeah, so this is one of Ayato's major failures.
Yeah, he just doesn't do it. And Makoto, who's also there, takes him to task for this, saying, you know, "Oh god, what are we spending all this money on this moron kid for?"
Yeah.
I mean,
can I point out, I wish any one of us were standing there, because Makoto says, "Oh, what is the point in keeping you around if you can't get us the data we need for our simulations and tests?" He kills the f***ing Dolems! He kills all the Dolems! You haven't been able to touch them until he's turned up and killed all the Dolems.
People asking why Ayato is there does seem to be a constant thing that pops up.
I know.
So now it's
And
Makoto asking.
It's just a case of, see out there? Yeah. You see that city that's intact? Yeah. That's why you keep me around!
Yeah, but Ayato is a unsure teenager, and so doesn't do the obvious thing of, you know, what about fighting the Dolems? Pretty much do that, eventually.
It's like going up to a police officer and saying, "You didn't hold the door for me. Why do we keep you around?"
And towards the end of the scene, Makoto and Itsuki have another creep-off. Have another sort of look at each other and go, "Oh, you know, you totally want to do it, don't you?" To which Itsuki goes, "I have no idea what you mean,
Makoto's just a dick. He's just a dick in this scene, like, all the time.
Oh yeah, he's a dick throughout this whole episode. It was good because I was
Yeah.
starting to like him for a bit because he was being all cool and wet earlier on.
Yeah. No, he was.
Now-
This is the thing. We were talking before about how Makoto's sort of your stereotyped, "I'm the villain dude," whereas Itsuki's the helpful scientist. And you realise after a couple of episodes that it's actually Itsuki that's the massive prick, and Makoto's actually alright. And then suddenly he turns around and goes, "What, you thought I was alright? Better kill some children."
Yeah, better knock some children's self-esteem.
Oh, exactly, yeah. No, it's like watching Game of Thrones when you start to think, "Oh, that character's quite nice. Oh, what are you doing to your sister?" Oh, let's move on.
For some reason, Haruka is spring cleaning in New Year's, and she's listening to a bit of music.
I think, though, the thing is, Megami turns up and is surprised at this. She's like, "What are you doing?" And it's basically, "You're throwing out all your old Do you mean you're not sticking and clinging to the past anymore? All the time, about everything?" So, yeah, I actually quite like this. It's quite a subtle way to continue the theme of Haruka discarding the past and embracing the present.
Because now she's got her Ayato in it.
Well, she's got her past back. So, yeah.
So, Megumi doesn't like... But then, of course, Ayato meets up with Kwon outside.
Yeah, Quan has no regard for personal space here.
Yeah.
Just sees him and immediately goes, "I wonder what your heartbeat sounds like."
Yeah.
Chest grab.
Chest grab. Listen to this young man's heartbeat.
Yeah, she does that. The thing is, it's been established several times until now, but this episode, there's a couple of bits where she just keeps grabbing people and walking up to people. She really has no proprietary whatsoever. In Japan, a culture well known for its proprietary.
That's true. She does probably seem quite unusual, doesn't she, with her handsiness on Ayato, which is why Megumi reacts so strongly.
Well, yeah, because that's the sort of intimacy you'd see with, partners, boyfriend, girlfriend, rather than just, hey, it's that girl we see occasionally at work and we don't quite know why she's occasionally at our office.
Oh, okay. So after that, they discuss going to the beach for New Year's Day, which is awesome when you live in, like, the southernmost islands of Japan.
I wasn't sure. This is New Year's right after Christmas. This is our New Year's. It's not, like, Chinese New Year or a different New Year.
No, that would be in April.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So this is still, like, January then.
Yeah, this is January. Yeah. At the moment, the 31st, and the next scene it cuts to pretty much the 1st.
Well, this scene, during this scene, it ticks across the line.
Yeah.
Because they remark, oh, look, it's the New Year. That's another thing. Right, so if it's the New Year for them as well and everything, nobody seems to give a shit that it's the New Year. Haruka spends, like, the bit across midnight sorting out her room, doing some tidying, and, Ayato and Megumi are outside talking to Kwon and don't even realise that it's gone midnight.
Well, they're having the soba and everything, but there is one character who does like it then. But before we get to him, we have this cut to the Bridge Dudes, who aren't introduced in these 2 episodes, but they are introduced in the manual, in the DVD insert. So I'm going to finally introduce our 2 Bridge Dudes. And they are, and I apologize because we have found out that these are often misspelt, so I apologize if we found out they're misspelt. Gomi Masaru.
And Yamoda Yuhei, who is 24.
Yamoda Yuhei, who is 24.
And is definitely not Jamaican.
Well, no, it's the future, dude.
No, I know. It's more just whenever they make characters who look like that in anime, they're always, for some strange reason, Jamaican.
Well, he ain't Jamaican
it's like
in this
the people who
He's probably native
look Chinese.
Okinawan or Ryukyuan. And there's the other guy who is less interesting. He has a small beard that looks like it's got like Batman is hiding underneath his chin.
Either that or it's a cat.
Yeah, but they are all sad because Kwon will be off at the beach. And they think that, of course, that means they'll be able to see
all of the Kwon.
Because they are the 2 guys who are in Kwon's, like...
They're Team Kwon.
They're Team Kwon. They're in Kwon's sort of, fan club.
The show came out before we'd really got to the point of making every single thing in a show part of Team this or Team that. So thank you again for Twilight doing that to the world. As it is now the future, we can say, go Team Kwon!
Surely in the importance of being earnest. You had teams. Oh, I'm on Team Ernest. Well, I'm on Team the other Ernest.
I'm on Team the guy who's saying he's earnest but isn't actually earnest.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, I think I've worked out why they're attracted to Kwon. I think it's because she's the only person who's got on a different colour palette.
Yeah. And there's also...
Everybody else is from the left. And then they just go, oh, you're drawing Kwon? Here, have the Kwon colours. Because she doesn't fit in any scene she's in.
Indeed. But here's the one person who does care that it's New Year's. We've got Yogumo, the Major, wearing, like, a full-on New Year's looking black kimono with hakama and everything. And he puts a little...
He can pull anything off.
He still can. He looks alright. It's just, I was like, what? Oh yeah, it's New Year's, but what? He's still working. So he's like, I'm gonna keep it here, and he's gonna put a little charm up on his seat. So good for him.
We also have, just before we get to the beach, in the nighttime scene, we have them sort of vaguely fighting over Ayato, and once we get to the beach, this becomes an actual fight over Ayato.
Indeed, this does, and again, this allows me to introduce some people who I also now know the names of, because we're going to introduce them, because Zero Team, Alpha Squadron are there. And while LV's Alpha Squadron are there, really we only see the first one, which is Kathy McHannon. Kathy Crazy Horse McHannon. That's her middle sort of what's the word? Kind of like code name in Metal Gear, because Elvie's got like an Indonesian code name, and these guys have all got code names.
If you are wondering which one we're talking about, it's the one with tits bigger than her head.
Yes, with tits bigger than her head.
Rubbing them against people.
Who basically can just easily let it lie on.
She rests on Ayato's shoulder and then ends up. You know that thing of like rubbing your cheek up against someone? She does that with her tits and his face.
But before we get to that bit, just let me just say that we've got Jean-Patrick Mastiero Chaplin is the most senior dude, the guy who has the I think it's a darker colour or the black coloured plane. He's the one who taught all of them as well, even though he is Elvie is his superior in the terms of chain of command in this one.
See, you sigh, but I don't remember their names. I remember that there's Elvie, the clearly sort of Texan tit girl, the black one, and then the one that isn't the one I've mentioned so far.
Yes, the one you haven't mentioned so far is Donnie Tonpu Wong. So yes, he probably almost certainly is...
Donnie Wong!
Yeah, he's probably almost certainly Chinese, I'm going to assume, or from Hong Kong.
Hmm.
And it says he's a mild-mannered pilot here in the tiny strip of sentences they give him on Wikipedia. But yeah, but those are the members of Alpha Squadron. We've got Jean Patrick, we've got Donnie, and we've got Kathy. And Kim, laser-guided knowledge, yanks Ayato's drawing pad away from him, because he's drawing Quan instead of Mishima.
Again, though, no regard for personal space or possessions. Everybody steals his bloody sketchbook.
You really are defensive of Ayato.
If it was my sketchbook, I would not like people stealing my sketchbook all the damn time.
I don't know. I think when you're on the beach, when everyone's doing stuff and you're cozying away with your thing, you're asking for it. People are going to do that.
You mean when Haruka is lying around listening to music, and when Megami is lying in the sand?
Well, yeah, Megami has been buried in the sand. That, I assume, is going on with it. And Haruka is sexy. You know, sexy ladies get the free pass on the beach for not doing anything. Quan is also just
staring into the sea without even being in the obligatory bikini for this scene.
That's true. Quan is noticeably absent from having any obligatory bikini in this whole episode. Which is weird, considering they were totally up for getting her in her underwear last episode.
In the freezing cold,
the freezing cold.
Well, I think that's because they're trying to avoid the whole tattoo thing being common knowledge. So I think that's actually plot reasons rather than pervy reasons. I think
everyone would notice that...
Well, if the writers could have had any say in the matter whatsoever, they'd probably have put her in a bikini.
Or a swimsuit, you know, just a one-piece. That'd cover it up.
Oh, yeah, true, actually.
See there, people in charge of television? You want to know a way of getting more fan service into your show? Contact us.
If there's fan service possible, we'll think of it.
We'll think of a way of getting it. Anyway, Kim points out that, you're drawing Quan now, but you were drawing this other girl, and she flips through and finds a picture of Mishima, and goes like, who is she? Right? She shows it to Megami and everyone, and Ayato says, she was a person that I knew, she'd be dead or in Jupiter now. And he goes...
he doesn't even say that, he just says, I knew her from school.
Oh, really? No, in this one he says she'd either be dead or still in Jupiter. In the subtitles, he straight up says that.
No, she's over there.
There is a bit where he says, Kim asks Ayato, what about the Mulian War? Do you remember anything from before that? And Ayato straight up says that Itsuki tells him that those are probably created memories.
All your memories are a lie.
That have been implanted by the Mulians. They go, so they just dropped that one in this random episode. That Ayato can't trust his memories. That's like an important thing. To
be fair, that's the note I have on my piece of paper here is that this episode basically goes, hey, all those episodes before now have hinted at stuff. Let's just spell it out. Because at the beginning you had the whole, you can't trust your memory, blah, blah, and then they just spell out Ayato, he's got false memories. And then they also have the thing where we were saying last time, this is when you can work out that Ayato would be 29 and therefore would be the same age as Haruka. Kim straight up turns to him and goes, if you weren't in Jupiter, you would be the exact same age as Haruka, wouldn't you? And also Itsuki.
Literally spelling it out. Again, he'd be 29.
Yeah, exactly. There's another one as well where there's a few things in this episode that we've had hinted at, and they just went, if you didn't get the little hints till now, we're spelling it all out for you straight away. Spelling it way out.
So yeah, loads of spelling it out a lot, and then Elvie comes in and is all like, yeah, you should draw a picture of me. And then all of a sudden, at some point, someone in the audio track just said yes. Don't know who that was. But went back and rewinded the DVD and didn't happen again. It was very odd. Anyway, yeah, it's LV, and then of course Kathy comes in and goes, "No, you should draw me, 'cause of boobs."
Because you're a teenage boy. Pick me. I have tits.
Boobs. And then they proceed to have a fight, which is actually
Take
pretty
me
cool.
like one of your French girls.
Then there's a weird cut-off in between this bit where we see Sayako trying to break into Makoto's Facebook for some reason, wanting to change all of his posts.
This is what I've got as a bit stupid, right? Because what she's doing is she's not using like software or back-end
She's
hacking
just
or anything
typing
like
in
that.
random
She's
stuff into
literally
password.
typing in, guessing his password, and I'm just going. This is meant to be like one of the top-level guys in one of the top military organizations. His password ain't gonna be password.
Yeah.
I mean, what are the odds that this woman with 20 minutes or so of just mashing the keyboard is going to guess Makoto's password? And also, if she's trying to get into one of the actual databases about him or trying to log in of one of his things, surely government level that high would have some sort of, your password has been incorrect 3 times. We have contacted security.
Exactly. Surely that would happen, but no, we kind of just got to hand wave that.
Just deal with it. She's hacking into him, apparently.
And failing, but
And
receiving
failing.
no consequences.
To be fair, it's Sayako. I'm not sure she does anything in this series at all that she doesn't fail miserably at.
No, pretty much. That is, yeah. Everyone be prepared as you watch this show for more of Sayako kind of really failing.
Yeah.
Then we cut to some underwater. There's a bit of everyone swimming underwater, but then we cut to the boat where we've got Haruka, Kwon, and Ayato are listening to some music. They're like, this music, it's kind of nostalgic. And Haruka's like, yeah, and he's going like, I just can't place it though. Aww.
Yeah! And she just, you just get the idea that she wants to just pin him down and go, it's our song! It's our song! Now take me here on this boat.
You have an interesting image of Haruka.
Watch the film.
But then when they're alone, Kwon and Ayato both spot Reika Mishima.
Yes, which, again, sort of solidifies the idea that Mishima, or Ichli, as she actually is...
Again, you're leaping ahead, that's later.
No! They keep calling her that. They've called her that many times.
I think Ayato's mother has called her that.
And Kwon. And also
Kwon does it this
Itsuki.
episode, but not yet.
No. Yeah, no, they have.
Oh,
They've
yeah.
all spoken about it. There's been about 3 mentions of her at this point. Anyway, it's been enough mentioned that I can call her that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Anyway, so what we're saying is, so Kwon can see her, and this is the point where Ayato just sort of looks around and goes, I guess no one's using the boat then, and steals it.
Pretty much, yeah. They sort of drive the boat further inland, but they get on land pretty quickly.
Well, no, they leave the boat out on the rocks.
Yeah.
Empty.
Yeah.
They drive the boat towards the land after kicking everyone else out, apparently, because everyone else is still swimming and on the beach. They just, Kwon and Ayato say, hey, we're just going to take the boat now around behind those rocks where no one can see what we're doing. Especially after last night, you do kind of think that Megami would have some ideas about where they've gone and what they're up to.
Anyway, we then have another another scene of Itsuki and Makoto sort of sitting around going, "Ooh, maybe you will be able to do stuff."
Do you want to be inside it?
Yeah.
Do you?
And then we have a bit of sort of a move around where they're sort of Ayato and Kwon are looking for Mishima, and they find a shrine, like a stone shrine. Then again, more of it.
Well, to be fair, this is a shrine that's got a broken chain on the door, the doors are wide open, and there's a big dark hole.
Yep.
It's not at all fucking ominous.
Yeah, it's way ominous.
Would you ever go in that if you were just walking through the woods and you found that shrine? I would go, it appears that we've stumbled into the horror genre. I think I'm going to go home and make sure there's good phone signal. Maybe ring someone and say, if this call ends abruptly, ring the police, ring them fast.
Itsuki now goes and stands in front of RahXephon and puts a helmet on for some reason.
The helmet will definitely protect you.
Because for some reason the helmet will allow him to communicate with RahXephon. It's like, but Ayato doesn't need it. Maybe the fact that you need a helmet in order to do it proves that Ayato is slightly more good at this than you. But anyway, while he's doing this, Makoto's watching, and Sayako comes in and says, "You're very mysterious." And he goes, "Oh, am I?" And he goes, "Well, yes, look at all of this mysterious stuff about you." Because, he had only just joined the part of the Federation that he is in, and then he got immediately assigned. So it's almost as if you're some sort of spy.
This is the thing. I wanted to check what the date on the watch was, because they said, "You've only worked for them for a month." And I thought, hasn't Ayato been out more than a month?
They certainly talk about the movement of time next episode. I don't recall in this one.
No, I know the next episode.
Surely, you're right, it must have been
Yeah.
potentially close to a month. If not, it's been a really busy few weeks.
I think it's...
No, they
I
had
got
Christmas,
the feeling
didn't they? This has
had
only been a few
Christmas.
days.
It's been a few days since Christmas, but the thing was, she says, "You've only been with the Federation a month." He was with the Federation, in inverted commas, in the first episode when he's part of Operation Overlord. And I remember that there's a date on the watch in episode 4 or 5 or whatever, when he's being told to check his watch and set his time and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do with knowing what the hell that date was.
Yeah.
I do think that means that Makoto may have been added to the books of the Federation after the fact. Either that, or they fucked up with their timing.
But yeah, sort of a load of vague stuff just to see that Makoto's been deliberately pushed into his position very quickly because he has ulterior motives other than just being an observer. We cut back to Ayato and Quan, and they're looking at the shrine, and there's this weird circle pan-around shot that's done of them for some reason. Do you remember this? It was really weird looking. Just
The
for some
thing,
reason,
you say that. I was going to bring this up at the end, but did you think this episode's animation was very different to normal?
Well, there wasn't a lot of movement in general.
Yeah, there was very little movement. There was a lot of repeat. When Quan's walking up through the forest, and it's just literally the same half a second played repeatedly of her slightly bobbing and walking. But also the faces looked different to me. The whole of the backgrounds and everything. It looked like it was a different art group than the ones that normally, are around for this.
I can believe that, because I do think this is this episode. At the end, I'll explain. I think it is kind of a dumping ground. So I think they may have just said, "We need to get this, this, and this out into into the season so that we can continue with our actual other stuff." So let's just get all this stuff out, and we'll give it to, because you can. It's not uncommon to take an episode and give it to a sub team or completely sell it to a different animation studio. Just say, "Here is X budget, do it that," and they do it in order to save time. Because, you can't... Sometimes it's just impossible to do every single piece of, important work in-house for a 20-so-and-so episode series, depending on your timing. So, I think that might have been the reason.
No, I can certainly see that.
Back to Makoto and Itsuki. There's a lot of cutting back and forth, and I was unsure of how to explain it. I think I'll just stick with it.
Usually what we do with the back and forth is that we deal with them one at a time.
I don't know, it seemed...
Oh, hate to interrupt you, but I've managed to look up a screenshot of the watch.
Oh! No, go on, tell us.
Right.
So Operation Overlord finished, because that's what he means.
Okay, normal is the day Ayato left Tokyo in the real world was the 27th of November 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Is it 2024 or is it
27th of November, you say?
Well, I'm either reading it the wrong way around or the right way around, but it's 27/11/24, and according to the date of this guy is 25 and he was born 2002, so it's actually 27, so it's the other way around. So it's the 24th of November 27 was the day of Operation Overlord, which means that, yes, she's absolutely right, he would have joined on the books. Ayato has now been here for, by this episode...
A month.
Yeah, a month and a week.
A month and a bit, yeah. So that's actually totally understandable.
5-6 weeks. So yeah, no, it looks like that he only joined the Federation the day of Operation Overlord, or maybe slightly after. Anyway, interruption. Sorry about that.
I think that was a good. That was a good bit of research. Good on you.
Right. So what were you saying?
Makoto being a bit more of a creeper again towards Sayako, but
the thing is, the thing I got here, it's like a snake and a ferret. Is this just going? Ooh, look at the thing! Don't you have such a big, wide mouth and slitty little eyes? Yes, I do, because I'm mysterious. Won't you come back with me? Yeah. I don't know. I feel
he
bad
gets
for Sayako.
really kind of disgusting towards Sayako in this episode.
I know.
He just spends the entire episode just being a lecher.
Have you seen House of Cards? Because there's a bit in the early season where
I've
Kevin
seen
Spacey's
been like
character...
half of the first season, so I think I know what you're talking
when
about.
Kevin Spacey's character is saying, "Have you ever been with an older man? We'll abuse you, we'll use you, and then we'll discard you, and you will be hurt." This is that scene to me.
Yeah.
It's that awkward. He's basically saying, "I'm going to have you. You will be mine, and when I'm bored, I will discard you."
Which, how has that ever worked? Ever? Why does that work in fiction?
No. I don't know. Maybe I don't know, because I've never tried it. I'm not sure if it would work in real life.
No one wants to try.
I don't think you'd have any... If it does work in real life, I feel bad for the women, and I feel horrified to be a part of the male gender that uses that.
Yeah.
So, no, I really hope that that's a fiction-only thing, and unfortunately, I do feel it probably isn't. So, yeah, after creepy propositioning...
Yeah. But it's Keith sadly fails to connect with RahXephon. And RahXephon, in order to show its lack of appreciation, it reenacts a scene out of the film The Abyss by James Cameron.
Yeah.
So what that really means, though, is Mishima's face appears out of the water.
Not just her face, it goes as far to show her tits and everything.
Oh, well, marvellous.
But, because of course, you couldn't just have Mishima's head come out. You go, no, we need tits for this scene.
You don't see it. It's like she's wearing her clothes, though. It's more like it's her torso that comes out.
Well, considering she's just water, there isn't actually any hint that there were any clothes, but... I think it's debatable because it's a weird bit of animation, but it did suggest to me more nudity than clothed. But the thing that's interesting about this, though, is that they get it on camera and that they all watch it back, and it isn't just people who have the requirements or whatever Makoto refers to it about. No, it's on the camera. What the fuck? There's like a girl in the water there going, no, you didn't say the magic words. So, yeah, that was that. But I think this also gets onto a running theme for Itsuki's character, which is, "Hey, Inferior Ayato, how you doing?"
Yes, how are you doing, Inferior Ayato?
It's a case of, you could possibly pilot the RahXephon. Nah, Ayato will do that. Oh, you could try and have a relationship with Haruka. Nah, she's in love with Ayato. Your sister likes you, but she also kind of likes Ayato. It's like, you do get the feeling that he's going to go, and the Nobel Prize goes to Ayato Kamina for the research of Itsuki Kitsuragi! What? But I wasn't even involved! You were the subject! He just wrote it down! Here, have the prize!
Right, so while this is happening, Kwon finally enters the secret passage against common sense.
No, do you know what is even more against common sense?
Yeah.
They realise... First thing, they don't realise they're suddenly in a horror genre and they walk into the mysteriously open shrine.
All they need is like a beckoning girl in a kimono.
I know. But then they don't even notice that the door's shut behind them, and they don't stay together!
No.
Within like 2 seconds, Kwon's already out of sight, and they're going down a single corridor. It's like, at least hold hands or something. I mean, we've already established she has no problem with physical intimacy.
So after all of this sort of sorts out, Haruka then contacts Jin, saying, they've all gone. I totally hope she's not having sex with him, because that will be really, really uncomfortable once, the next reveal happens.
Yeah.
So let's... So everyone starts looking for them, and it's like the usual, hello. But Haruka, in looking for them, finds the shrine, and pulls open the doors.
Isn't it creepy that this is here?
Yeah.
This is rather out of place in this area.
Yep. And she pulls open the doors, and it reveals it's been sealed with rubble. So, either something has closed off the path behind Ayato and Kwon, or Indiana Jones has just left. So,
or alternatively, it's a place that they can only enter by invitation. See, now, I know that we're going to get a bit more about the shrine turning up later on, but seriously, why is this shrine here?
Well, actually, we get a good example of that, because then Futagami turns up, and he has a chat with Megumi, and he brought it up earlier on in the episode, but I wanted to finish it now, because he kind of says it again. He says that 38 or so years ago...
This is where people were spirited forth.
Where people were spirited forth, the opposite. So 2 completely unknown ladies appeared at the face of this shrine.
Yes, that's true. And
they came from somewhere else. And he says, isn't spiriting forth kind of similar to what happened with the Moo?
They spirited Yeah, no, they spirited away Tokyo.
They spirited away Tokyo and spirited forth horrible dolems of doom. Which I gotta say is bad trade. I want the biggest city in the world, and in return, I will give you evil clay monsters. This doesn't seem like a good trade.
Couldn't we give you the city in exchange for you not sending the death robots?
No, that wouldn't be fair.
Okay, but only on a let's do that on maybe a 17-year period, and then we'll review. No, it's 12 years, isn't it?
Yeah, 12-year period, and then we'll blow
it's like
everything.
a 12-year mortgage. We'll basically give you we'll take the city, and we'll repay you in not sending death robots. But then after 12 years, we'll reevaluate to see if the death robot sending is a good idea.
So, quite clearly, as always, Futogami knows more than he's letting on.
He's just the opposite of Jon Snow. It's Futagami, you know everything.
Yeah, you know everything, Futagami. And he seems to know the answers, really, before he's asking. So he's asking these people, and they're just like, well, Futagami, there's a reason why no one answers your questions when you say them. It's because you're clearly asking questions you already know the answer to. So they're just like,
yeah, and you're basically
quiet.
just doing it to troll people.
Yeah.
You walk up and go, hey, you know your deepest, darkest secret? Yeah. I'm going to hint that I know that.
And they're like, well, cool. Do you have any evidence? Well, no. I mean, you covered it up so well. Well, cool. Then I guess
fuck
that's it. And get your fucking shirt ironed.
Yes, definitely.
So because of course, Kwon is gone, so Itsuki now feels completely lonely. And he's a jerk to Sayako because that's what happens.
Yeah.
Because being
this is the thing.
suffering.
As much as Itsuki seems to be like a bit of a moralless, passionless prick, he does seem to genuinely give a shit about Kwon.
Well, yeah, makes sense. He's all like, she's gone. I'm so down. And quite clearly, this we then get this sort of quasi sort of montage of them searching, and we see the calendar that it's now the 7th of January, so it's been a week, and they're just like, well, now we're giving up. And Itsuki even sensed this to her. Itsuki calls Haruka and says, "Now we're giving up."
Yeah, I'm
she's
giving
like,
up. It's been a week.
And he's like, no. She was like someone who I spent my whole life researching, and she's my sister. And Ayato is like the only person who can activate the robot that I researched.
Yeah,
but
the next time the Dolans turn up, we're going to die.
I'm packing it all in. I'm going to become a librarian.
Yeah, do you know what? Frankly, I just can't afford the petrol anymore to go to that island and look around. So I've called off the search. Apparently, petrol's that rare that we're just giving up.
Just giving it up.
Yeah, we're actually just going to we're going to surrender to the Mu tomorrow and just call it off. Really, the whole Defense of Humanity thing. Yeah. So if you could just do that, contact the Mu. She goes, no, I think I'll look. Maybe just one more night. You never know. You might find something.
Meanwhile, Ayato, who seems totally okay with this at the moment, doesn't seem all exhausted.
No, he doesn't look like the sort of guy who's been walking down a corridor for a week.
We all know what's happening, really, at this point, because it cuts to that, we're like, well, either this is, like, we're showing it from 2 points in time, or, more likely, considering what's happened previously in the show, time dilation is happening. So, yeah, Ayato seems fine. It's clearly only been, like, a few minutes for him, and he sees an image of Tokyo Jupiter. And then he starts...
After having a RahXephon-style, like, water ripple floor as well.
Kwon, meanwhile, has a slightly more interesting thing, in that she meets the world's most unappealing soft, hard-boiled egg.
Yes, there's a completely black egg there, and she goes, "Oh, Itsuli's here. I guess we'll have a Jargon-off."
We'll have a Jargon-off. And Itsuki comes in and goes, and Itzel turns up and goes, "Oh, well, I'm going to twist your jargon right back on you with Jargon Judo, and refer to you as Olin now. Since
what?
I'm an Olin."
Kwon
so, of
is
course,
Olin?
We now know, of course, that Olin clearly gets explained that not only is Kwon an instrumentalist, but, of course, what we all kind of guessed, Olin means instrumentalist. They're pretty much the same thing. Yeah,
and the thing is, though, I have seen this show before. I know it was 10 years ago. I know you keep pointing out I've forgotten half of it. The point is that I know what's going to happen within the vague realms of everything.
Yeah.
But even then, this fucking Jargon-off, they're just like... But you mean that the same as I can't even remember the bloody words. It was that ridiculous.
Yes, it is just a load of ridiculous. Is that the reason, perhaps, why people don't immediately get it?
Perhaps.
Which I do find odd, because it's a bit harsh when they always just stick a load of things to make it difficult for you to understand them. And
it's artificial difficulty.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
It's the example of artificial difficulty.
It's the thing of the good example is like in games where instead of making the enemy like have more move
Skill.
sets or better timing or better skill, they just double their stats and call that harder difficulty.
So it's just arbitrarily we're going to use a load of jargon.
Yep.
For that.
So the thing is, I do think they explain it properly later. So I don't think it's that bad. I think this is again
it's not
an
important
example.
to know, really.
No, well, it's stuff that gets hinted at here, but it's basically, hey Quan, here is this egg, and it's your egg. It's to retune the world. I believe are the only things you can really take out of that. And she
Wouldn't
goes,
it be cool
I could
then?
retune the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, Olans apparently can retune the world,
Oh, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
which has been established. I feel fairly confident in saying that they've mentioned that at least 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, in sort of passing, but now it's sort of like, look, this is a definite thing.
Yeah.
It's only episode 9. We are straight up saying this is all about reforming the world. So when it comes to the end of the season, and something happens, it is not a fake out. They have been hinting at this from day one.
Yeah, that's gonna be a thing, and also that both Quan and Ayato and possibly Itsuki have the necessary requirements, or that Itsuki apparently is a fail, and and giant robots just say no.
Giant robots just say no. Although it does
When
seem...
Itsuki Kitsuragi wants to enter you, and you don't want him to, just say no, giant robots. Just say no.
But if you're watching along with us, and this is the first time, and you're hoping, oh, does that mean that Quan's going to get like a cool robot and join up with Ayato? Don't hold your breath.
Yeah, this is
Sadly,
called
this does not mean that Quan is going to magically
RahXephon.
become useful.
If they called it Zephons or whatever, then yeah, that could have actually been kind of cool, to be fair. But no, this is the RahXephon. We will tolerate no other mechs than RahXephon.
Yeah, we'll tolerate a few others, but they'll die pretty quick.
So yeah, just as he's about to enter the magical world.
So we have this flashback at the front of the shrine with 2 young ladies in, one of whom has Quan's hair colour. And so you could assume that it's probably Quan's mother, given the time frame. Although it would be very close, considering it was 38 years ago.
Yeah. But no, it looked... the thing is, it's sort of sitting up, but there's a lot of hair in that scene.
Yeah.
Like, just on screen for just half a second, but my God, there was a lot of hair on both those girls.
Okay, you need to find a way to say that differently, dude.
Those girls had a lot of... No, that's still saying... The hair growth of those... No, we're not going to win here, Lewis. I think we should just move on.
Right.
But maybe that's why Quan likes to go to the barber so often, because her mother said, "You wouldn't believe the hair I had when I came out of this random shrine," and has raised her and Itsuki to really, really worry about hair all the time.
Cut it all off. She wouldn't like Itsuki. Itsuki, you've got long hair. You look like... Cut your hair.
Yeah, well, to be fair, we don't know anything about their parents, whether they're alive, dead, or have disowned them due to growing out their hair.
That's very true.
You've got a ponytail, Itsuki? You are not my son.
Right. And Ayato starts falling towards Tokyo Jupiter, and then actually we see Tokyo for a bit, but then he hears a song, which if you don't recognise, you've got really poor memory, because it was the song earlier that they highlighted would be important.
This will be our song. Remember it. Remember our song.
Exactly. They end up out of the front of the shrine. Both Quan and Haruka's all happy to have met him. And he's like, oh God, where have you been? And he's like, well, we've only been away for 5 minutes. And he goes, no, you were away for a week. That place is like Tokyo Jupiter, just in case any of the viewers were slow.
It isn't like Tokyo Jupiter. Tokyo Jupiter is only 1-4 split, okay? For
Yeah,
every
this
1
is very
second
different,
it's 4. That's a week and 5 minutes.
That's like
I'm sorry,
Tokyo Jupiter.
a week and 5 minutes is basically just, hey, why aren't there any samurai around anymore?
Yes.
I've only been gone a couple of days.
Yes, it's almost like you might as well expect
That is
someone
the
else to
difference.
stumble out with them and go, Tokugawa wa dokada? It's sort of like, where is Tokugawa? I must finish him off. He's dead, man.
For the Date clan will rule them all.
Yeah.
That would actually be an awesome crossover series. Is Masamune Date turns up and then starts manning the RahXephon
Yes.
in an effort to conquer the Mu.
Actually, that does sound awesome. I do like, that's the one thing about this episode that I will bring up. It's weirdly linking the Mu, who have all been very Aztec and Mayan so far, with a very Japanese thing of being spirited away. Which is, if you're not familiar with, like, Japanese mythology, but you are familiar with European fairy mythology, it is exactly like that. It's like being nicked by the fairies.
Mm.
And they're kind of nasty, like the fairies, the yokai that steal people away. So.
This is also a thing. Going back to why is this shrine here? This is a shrine that has time dilation in it that appears to be sending them to Tokyo, or was about to send him to Tokyo Jupiter, that contains the god-being creature thing that seems to be orchestrating the whole of it. You know, the Reika woman thing. The thing that calls itself Mishima. Yeah, why is this here? Because the Mulian tech was apparently all, Mayan and South American, so that was all over there, and they brought it and put it in Tokyo. But this is clearly been here a while. For a start, 38 years ago, girls came out of it. So why is there Mulian tech on the island? Really, is what I was just going to say here.
The only important things are ancient South American traditions and ancient Japanese ones. Everyone else can fuck off. Stonehenge, meaningless stones. But this thing we've got stuck here, this weird crest that we've got stuck in the head of Terra, that's important. Can get Ayato into the RahXephon.
But that's part of my argument, is that they shipped that all the way from
South America.
Yeah, exactly. So everything else has either been shipped from South America or the Mu have turned up with it. But this predates the Mu and is in a part of the world where the Mu apparently never were.
Oh, we don't know that for certain.
Well, no, we don't, but we do know that the Mu's main focus was in the Mayan and the Aztec sort of areas. And to the best of my knowledge, there wasn't a big Aztec presence in Japan.
Oh, I get the feeling that... I know the reason how it works, but only because I watched the series. So
we meant to be having a spoiler-free discussion as if we were watching for the first time.
If we were watching for the first time, I would say this is very confusing because this is a very Japanese shrine, but it's got Mulian in it, and it's like, ooh, what is? I think it stands out. That's the main reason. I think they've deliberately done this so it stands out, so you know it's important. Whereas stuff that comes from South America, not to sound mean, could be any sort of Mulian stuff. So if it was from South America, it could be for anything because they were all Mulian stuff.
Yeah.
But this uniquely Japanese thing, you're like, ooh, what else is Mulian, yet definitely Japanese? What one person has those two qualifications? But yes, this next scene I have here is just Makoto is Makoto.
Well, Makoto is basically just... This is the problem. I have this scene here, and I don't like this scene at all. This is the scene of, hey, do you remember that flirting, the implication that we were going to have sex? Well... Now we're in a bar, and I'm going to outright say, hey, we're going to be working together, sign this contract, and that's, here's also appears to be a way of you stealing data or, something down. It was basically, he gives it like a USB stick and says, you need to get information.
Wasn't that a key? I thought that was like a hotel room key. So like you sort of like, he said, before we get to doing all of our spying, perhaps we should also do what hotel room keys randomly mean.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is the least sexiest spy hookup I have ever seen.
Exactly. The thing is, it's basically work with benefits.
Yeah.
It's not even friends with her. It's just
neither of them like each other. It seems so pointless.
It's just a case of, I haven't got anyone I'm banging at the minute. You'll do.
Yeah.
And in exchange, and the thing is, she sort of goes, this will help him, right? And so how will this help? How will you going around behind his back, spying, giving data to someone he's clearly quite antagonistic with when they're there, and banging some other guy help your relationship with your boss?
Exactly.
She's either pretty stupid, pretty naive, or just has no self-esteem.
Yeah.
And it's probably the latter.
Yeah, it's one of these quite problematic elements of Sayako's personality.
The thing is, I don't really blame the writers, and I don't really blame, this show for this, because it's not like they're saying this is a good thing. They are outright saying, this is awful. Yeah. I mean, it comes up later on. This relationship is bad. It's not like Twilight, where you read it and you go, well, this relationship is incredibly unhealthy, and all the people in it go, this relationship is incredibly healthy. Yeah, it's not like that. The show is fully aware of what a horrible idea this is and the negative consequences of this decision.
I've just come to a conclusion, really, when you've said that, and I realised it's really rapey.
It is!
He is. When you think about it, he is literally using his position to leverage sex out of Sayako. And it's like, that's pretty much just rape.
It is. I can't remember the term for it, but it's abuse of power rape.
Yeah.
Basically, is what it is. It's he's leveraging her with both his position in the organizations and with her feeling towards Itsuki.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't like this, but at least the show is fully aware that this is a horrible thing being done by a horrible person for horrible reasons.
Exactly.
Right.
Sadly, that was actually M being M was actually not that bit that I noted down. That was something else because this is the last episode. This is the last scene in the episode, and what a wonderful thing to end the episode on. A little bit before that, we have a bit where Ayato is driving back with Haruka, and he starts humming the song, and he says, "Oh, I remember this song. So you like this song that was like from only a few years ago, in my perspective, but from." The time when you would have been my age.
Yeah. You like this song that I clearly liked, and we've both got memories attached to it, and we would have been the same age, and maybe I should just stop thinking now. It's probably nothing important. And then, she tightens her grip on the wheel and goes, would you just remember and change bedrooms, please?
She doesn't exactly do that, but yeah, it's kind of, despite the obviousness, it's a nice, very sweet scene, and would have been a better scene to end the episode on than
the rape.
Makoto rapes Sayako in the hotel. Ew.
I know. The thing is, I like the relationship between Haruka and Ayato. I realise I've possibly implied otherwise when I kept talking about the weird tension and all this sort of stuff, but I
like
genuinely really like the relationship. I think it's well done. I think it's a nice thing. I think both characters work within it as well, and I'd like to see them get together. So I'm on Team Haruka if you want to get into the team business again. And I just think, while they keep presenting Megumi as the obvious love interest, I kind of mostly feel that's a bluff.
Yeah, she's like really overtly jealous of everything.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad.
She's the generic anime love interest. All the stuff of, hey, are you guys on a date that we had before when he's showing her when she's showing him around the island, and we had the thing of, hey, and it gets a lot more of it next episode as well. Of, hey, are you two together? And they're both just like, no, we're not together. And it's just any other show, they'd be the ones that get together by the end.
Yeah.
They really would. That's the obvious pair up. But no, I like the Haruka Ayato thing, and we're not going to go into who ends up with whom by the end of the show. I would prefer it if Haruka ends up being Ayato's love interest.
Well, I think they're being portrayed quite well, especially considering, again, he's just a little off the age of consent.
Yeah, 17 to 29 is not quite what everyone goes thumbs up.
Yeah, we don't go thumbs up. I mean, we're recording this just so people know. In the US, of course, where we might get quite a few listeners, your age of consent is 18. In our country, 16. The age of consent is 16. But with
in Japan, what's it in Japan?
It's also, I think, 18. It's strictly speaking, it's 20.
Really?
The age of consent for pretty much everything, alcohol, driving, everything is 20.
Wow.
But you know how it works. Yeah, in Japan, it's sort of like they actually have a word for it. I've forgotten. There's a Japanese word for, what is official and how things are actually done. And, that occasionally creeps into everyday Japanese life in a very disturbing way. But that is not all. I rush to say that is not everyone. And the legal age of consent in Japan for pretty much everything is 20. They've gone just the full bar. Let's just say 20, that's it. You're adult.
Yeah.
Before that, you can't.
Now, what I'd like to say is I like this episode because I like the relationship with Haruka and Ayato. I think it's nice, but unfortunately I can't. I think the animation's a lot worse. I think it looks cheap. Quite a bit of it looks lazy. There's all this stuff with, Sayako, which leaves a bad taste in my mouth, and probably hers by the end of the evening.
I shouldn't laugh at that, but I am.
No, I'm sorry. I was halfway through the sentence and the line just occurred to me. I couldn't not. But you've also got it's a jargon off as well. It doesn't make much sense in terms of when you're watching it, even when you know what the outcomes of the show are and what the things that are going on is. That doesn't really. It's not a proper explanation. It's not like Exposition Street. I don't mind some nice exposition. This is just fake exposition. It's jargon off to pretend that you're explaining things when you're actually just trying to confuse everyone. There's a few nice setups for the end of the series or for later on things, but mostly it just doesn't really make any coherent sense. And there's quite a lot of pacing problems as well, I think, because we've got too many scenes of just people walking through some forest or walking down a corridor or just not really doing anything.
Well, yeah, if I were to describe RahXephon as a supermarket, which is totally the appropriate analogy, this is like that little bin full of really cheap DVDs by the tobacco stand.
There's a couple of things that are good in there,
Yeah.
certainly, but mostly it's cheap and it's full
And
of
this
tack.
entire episode is that one whole bin. And it's like sort of, there are things in here that I probably should see, and that would make sense later on, but the rest is just faff. And it's quite unfortunate. It's a bit of a weak episode because of that. It's full of little things that really, if you cut them out, you could stick them into other episodes as filler.
Yeah, you could just pad a few more episodes, tighten up a bit more of the other scenes than other episodes, and just have this sort of growth. But the only things that are really good is you've got Haruka being very much established as what it is it's mostly continuing trends that they've already started. So Itsuki being inferior Ayato, we've already mentioned. Haruka getting rid of her past and sticking with the present. Ayato having the problems with his history and then starting to remember everything. It's
a lot of stuff we already know, which sometimes you don't need to repeat.
Exactly.
Sometimes that's just that's a waste of time.
However, one thing that I think is in the scene at the end when they're in the car and Haruka says, "If you could go back to Tokyo Jupiter, would you?" Now, Ayato says, "No, this is where I belong." He has changed. That is the only thing that I think's new, is that it's the first time it's established, because we've had hints that he likes it here, that he would rather stay, that he doesn't really want to go back to the lies and the manipulations and the mood generally. But Haruka is his anchor to this world, and
literally, that literally happens in the episode. It's the song that brings him back.
I'd already put Haruka as Ayata's anchor in my notes, and then that bit happened, and I just went, well, that's more than just a metaphor now. But it is a case of that I like that, and I like the development of their relationship. But that's the only good thing about this episode. It really is.
Yeah.
Everything else is just
And people might say, but then when do we sort out the thing where Makoto's sexually taking advantage of Sayako? And my hint is that could have been totally cut out. Yeah.
If you know, I don't believe it's in the film. It was cut for time then.
Whole characters were cut for time in the film, but yeah.
Is Sayako even in the film? I think she's in it briefly, but just as background number 2.
Itsuki's barely in it.
Well, yeah, exactly.
But that was episode 9.
Need an assistant.
Sadly, very disappointing. I think we'll both agree on that.
Episode 10, we're about to move on to, but first we have our little intermission. However, just to say, episode 10 is another character episode, and we enjoyed Kim's, we enjoyed Sayako's, and now we get to enjoy Jin's. So luckily there is something to look forward to. So if you've just thought, oh no, RahXephon's got fucking miserable, I think I'm going to give up.
Yes, the next episode
keep going.
Should save it.
Keep going. Yes. So first, your intermission, Lewis, is the usual. Let's have a ramen.
Let's have a ramen. Now I have a selection of ramen to choose from, and I think I'll let you pick which one it is.
Ooh.
I have lychee flavour, melon flavour, orange flavour, and strawberry flavour.
Do you like melon? Because I don't like melon.
I those all sound lovely to me.
What is lychee?
Lychee's like a kind of berry. I think you've had some, haven't you? We went to a Chinese restaurant and had some lychee. It's like this very fresh tasting berry.
I think
very fleshy
I did.
tasting.
Was that last time we were in London?
I think it was. We were in London like 4 years ago or some point. I think is when we had lychee.
We're so old. Okay, lychee. That way I can not have to have it mentioned again that it's been years. So,
okay, I will go and
stop
fetch
me
the
feeling
lychee
old.
flavour.
You drink lychee.
Intermission ramen review. And this week we are doing the lychee flavour ramen that I got. And I'm just going to let everyone hear the ball drop in. Ooh, that was much cleaner than the last time. Okay, right. Ramen, the lychee flavour, it's got a nice little pink wrapper around it. And pictures of what I assume are lychee berries. For some reason. Oh, no, those could just be marbles, I just realised. Yeah, because it's got a marble in it. But it's pinker.
A pointless marble!
The liquid is also different. The other liquid much clearer. This is a slightly cloudy liquid. But other than that, the packaging is pretty much the same. Same weird nozzle. If anything, the marble's not the worst thing. It's the nozzle. It's quite difficult to drink it through the nozzle. But here we go.
I still think a drink shouldn't be a puzzle. This isn't Professor Layton. It's not. Oh, I'm sorry, you've come to our restaurant. I'm afraid we won't serve you until you do this fourth order differential equation puzzle we've got.
Yeah. This is very nice. And because it's still fizzy, and lychees aren't fizzy, it's kind of weird. It kind of twists the flavour of the lychee berries. But it does. I have had lychee berries before, and they taste alright. And this tastes like a good lychee berry, but fizzy. But other than that, I guess the lychee flavour lasts quite a bit with a good aftertaste. And no, not too bad. In fact, if anything, I prefer this to regular Ramune.
Cool. Well, we were scoring them out of 5, I believe. So, out of 5, this one?
4.5 out of 5.
Whoa, that's 9 out of 10, basically.
Yeah.
So that's considerably higher than I was expecting a 4.
Yeah, no, I really like this one. Again, what's also good about Ramune so far is it's a carbonated drink, which I don't drink a lot of these sort of fizzy drinks that have a lot of sugar in, but they're sweet without being really like sickly sweet. Like I said in the previous one, it tasted kind of like Sprite. It did kind of like Sprite, but then I had some Sprite and I realised Sprite is really sweet these days.
Oh, it's so syrupy.
It's so syrupy. It isn't.
I don't drink Sprite anymore. I just have basic lemonade now.
Yeah. It is. That's one good thing about Ramune. It does not taste the way Sprite tastes in it, how syrupy it is. It's nice, quite clear.
They should put that on the bottle. Ramune, drink it, because it's not fucking Sprite.
It's not fucking Sprite. I have found another use for it, by the way, because I was discussing the Ramune bottle with my father at one point, and he said, "Ooh, that's where we used to get our marbles from, because there used to be bottles with marbles that fell into them back in his day, and that's where he got his glass marbles." So, been breaking the bottles before taking them out to the recycling and keeping the marbles. So by the end of this, I'll have several glass marbles, and they are very nice because I've got 2 already from the previous podcast, and they're quite nice marbles, and they're real glass. So that's one other good thing I'll be getting from it is a whole load of marbles.
Well, you paid enough. Okay, so that's the end of your intermission, and as of this week, we have a new intermission.
Oh, fantastic.
I hold in my hand here a package. This package is something that I ordered from the internet from Japan itself, and it's something that Lewis discovered, which was that there was a RahXephon PS2 game. So,
yes.
I don't know if you can hear this, but this is me trying to unpackage the package that I received from Japan, which hopefully, unless I've also ordered something really embarrassing, I will be able to tell you what is in.
He's also ordered, just so that you listeners at home know, he also ordered a fleshlight based on Megumi's vagina. So.
Oh, why did you have to go with Megumi?
Because I wanted the most embarrassing.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to argue
Haruka,
maybe Hiroko, Hiroko from Tokyo, would be worse. But no, I think Megumi is the worst of all of them in this series.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all shiny. I'm going to put a photo of this on this week's thing. They've also sent me sweets!
Of course, on the show notes. You've got sweets!
They've sent me sweets! I have sweets!
What, just with the package?
Thank you for your purchasing. Hello, I am very happy to do transaction with you. We are Japanese wholesale store, supply large quantities of products.
Wow.
They've written to me. They've actually written to me and sent me sweets. This is the best day.
Oh, wow. When most of the time, all the stuff I come back from Japan comes with like a free packet of tissues, and that's about it.
Oh, yeah, well, that would be you. But no, thank you very much to Shinobu Itagaki, who has sent me sweets with my copy of the RahXephon PS2 game. I even shelled out the extra couple of quid to get the limited edition, first print version of it. Oh,
sweet,
as
really?
Well. Yeah. So I've got a different cover to the one you may see on the Wikipedia entry. Because my cover is of RahXephon itself hovering over Reika, which, as I say, I'm going to take a photo of this, and I will put the sweets in the photo as well.
Oh, please do.
But obviously, as I'm unboxing it now, the first time we'll be able to talk about it actual gameplay-wise will be next week. But also, I'm going to attempt, and I say attempt because it might not happen, I have very little free time, but I'm going to attempt to play through and then maybe talk every week about the representation of this part of the series as a game. Because it's it's very much like the other anime tie-in games that I've bought from Japan. Gantz specifically was the one I remember.
That went through goes through the storyline.
Yes, you basically just have, it's a visual novel with occasional, so then there was a fight, and you fight the Dolems. And hopefully I will be less of a failure than Ayato is at fighting them. But no, it's actually in really good condition. And I also have, there's 2 discs as well. I'm not really sure what this one is, but I think this might be a DVD with it. But anyway, no, so yeah.
There might be an extra
episode.
Yes,
there is a DVD. There is a DVD in this as well, so that is another thing that I will have to look at and find out what the fuck I've got my hands on, because that's rather cool. Anyway,
I'm interested in one thing, is, since they were so nice to you, do you know the website of the Japanese wholesalers?
Oh, yes, I will definitely say, if you are wanting to buy stuff from people, Kana, Shiori, Masami, and Shinobu are very nice people, and they sell on...
They might not have it on their thing, I don't know.
Well, no, apparently it's... I got it from Gold Rush Japan, it's called on Amazon, but according to this, it's facebook.com/Japanese Poppin Culture is one that you should say, or the website of the shop is www.oharashop.jp or pondjapan.mybigcommerce.com. But I will put links to the people who gave me, who I bought this off, in the comments of this as well.
The show notes.
So, yes, sorry, the show notes.
Yeah.
So, yes.
I'll certainly stick those in, but I just thought they might like for you to say it out loud.
No, I've done that
Japanese
now,
poppin' culture. It's been a long time since I've seen a translation fail that hilarious.
Well, I rather like this letter I've got of regular. It's just also they've put regular purchases available, and if you make a bulk purchase, full stop. If you do so, you can get a discount, and it's bolded and especially there.
Wow!
Like, oh my god, discount! So feel free to ask for it. Anyway, moving back out of our intermission, then
we now move on to episode 10.
Yes, episode 10. I've got to fish my show notes out from under the packaging. Right, so episode 10, which is in the English War in the Remembrance.
And in Japanese, it's called the Sonata of Recollection. Tsukio no Sonata.
Ah, my translation thing has Sonata of Reminiscence.
Ah, essentially the same one though, except for some reason. War in the Remembrance and Sonata or...
Sonata of Reminiscence or whichever. I don't know what you said. Your one came out.
Recollection, but it means
Recollection the same thing. Then. Yeah, there you go. But and we open with Ayato not being a massive failure anymore. A round of applause for Ayato. Well done.
Indeed. Instead, prize for massive failure instead goes to the Dolem, who appears just in the opening sequence, called RahXephon. Total height of 328 feet. RahXephon means in a very slow tempo.
Its alternate meaning is does not appear particularly in this show.
Yeah, because it pretty much turns up, fires a laser at Alpha Squadron, misses, fires a laser at RahXephon, who blocks it with
I
a
have
shield.
light shield, and apparently I can actually do it at will now.
Yeah, and then RahXephon punches its face in.
Yeah.
And that's
it. And unlike the other one, where a part of it survived and it came back for another episode of its own, no, this thing's dead.
This thing's dead, won't come back.
No one cares.
No one cares about you, RahXephon. I almost feel irritated that your name still hangs in my Google search bar in my browser.
Yeah. But this is also when it's really marking that Dolems aren't worth the airtime at this point, really. It's just a case of, we assume, because there's also been a month time skip. This is now, February, I believe.
Yes, it's been 4 months since he's arrived now.
Yeah.
So he's properly comfortable now.
But, so this is in February, we find that Dolems are not really worth fighting. Ayato just sort of turns up, kills them, and then goes home in time for tea.
I think really Ayato should play up the difficulty a bit more, otherwise Terra's funding might get cut.
Yeah, that's true. Oh no, what do you know they should use the extra funding for? They should stop putting, since the RahXephon do this, do you know what they really need to install is some sort of public transport of on the island.
Yeah.
Because there's so many scenes of them walking up and down the fucking hill, panting and sweating, whether it's the reporter dude, whether it's Ayato and Megumi going home at the end of the day. The only one we don't see is Haruka, and I'm assuming it's because Haruka has a secret route there so she doesn't get all sweaty and
Or a
unattractive for Ayato. No, there's no car at their house. We see multiple shots of their house, and there's never a car there. Unless I'm remembering. I'll try and keep an eye out, actually, from now on, because I don't... Also, why would she not give them a lift if there's a car?
That's true. It's
They
Itsuki
work
that
in
has
the
the
same
car,
place.
isn't it?
Yeah, Itsuki... Actually, it's Sayako. It's just Itsuki treats her as a taxi.
God, you're right. She has the awesome car.
Yeah, she's the one with the big fancy sports car. No, I would actually have said a moped of some sort would be what you'd buy everyone for this.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they're able to drive it at 17. I mean, I don't know.
Yes, they can. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
If you can do it
can you drive normally? But they already had a thing of there's a big problem driving up that hill with a car because of the suspension. So yeah, I'd say it'd be totally worth them investing in a scooter or something for the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, anyway, so away from the things that they really should spend money on and back to the things they really shouldn't spend money on, such as the fucking jets, who still aren't really doing anything other than minor distraction. I hope they do something in the game, because I don't really want to be fighting this ridiculous amount of dolems with the support that Ayato seems to get from this fucking flight company.
Meanwhile, Jin has a bit of a conversation with Haruka about how he's a bit more centered now.
Less shit. About how Ayato is less shit.
Yes, about he's less shit, really.
So he doesn't just punch them in the face anymore. Yeah, no, now he uses the weapons, he uses the shield to protect himself, and he uses the light sword, because it's got a fucking light sword as well. And that apparently is how he's... Oh, you mean I killed them by using the weapons?
Who'd have thunk it?
It's like someone who's just been given a tank and has tried to run over all the other tanks and never once fired the cannon or the machine gun attached to the top. And just gone, these are for decoration, right?
So, meanwhile, we go to Commander Jin's office, where he stands around with Quan, and Quan plays the violin. And that's all that happens.
She plays the violin, and everyone seems to be bloody miserable about it.
But then instead, the Major turns up, and he's much more chirpy, and he says, the Mu have really quietened down now that Ayato has actually got his shit together.
He's just killing them all the time. It's not even an effort anymore.
And Jin, meanwhile, stands up and he says, look, I'm got my 1 day off now. It's coming up, so I won't be around for tomorrow. And he's like, yeah, that's cool. He goes, well, you sure? That'll mean you'll need to say all the stuff on the bridge and stand at the main area all the time. And I was like...
You have to be a dick to Ayato.
Well, no, this is the thing.
My job description.
Well, that's the thing. Other than being a dick to Ayato, Jin doesn't really seem like visibly do anything. So when he was saying, you've got to take over for me, I was like, I haven't seen you do anything, really, Jin. It's hard for me to believe this. Because most of the time it is the Major who's in like the main bit, making all the decisions.
The thing is, Jin needs to join a union. He really needs to join a union. Because have you ever heard of 1 day off a year? Seriously. Whose contract has 1 holiday day?
I don't think it's because of Terra. I think they'd give him more if he wanted more.
Yeah, but you can make less of a joke about that.
Jin, meanwhile, meets Watari in the train.
Where Watari is the nicest man who ever lived.
Well, he always is. He keeps being the nicest guy.
He's so wonderful to be around.
He is. He is good fun with Watari. Although, of course, he cannot pronounce the conference that he is going to. Only Jin can seemingly pronounce the name of this conference. I'm not going to try it.
I was going to write it down to prove I could, and then I just thought, that's so much effort.
It's basically just this long conference, which in Japanese is deliberately difficult for them to pronounce. It's like a load of M sounds.
Yeah,
so...
the English translation makes it that it's so many words you'd forget it. It's about 8. It's like the Joint Chiefs, Mulian, Reprimand, Reminiscence. Oh God, they're all dead. Task Force Entry, abbreviated meeting of the gods. So yeah.
Yeah,
God.
Bit of a downer. Ever chat again, and he's like, you could take more time off. And he's like, got stuff to do.
Well, the basic gist of this is apparently it's the anniversary where we feel bad about all the people who died in the Mu War. That's what the meeting's about, apparently.
Yep. Meanwhile, Ayato and Megumi who are walking around together,
Definitely not on a date.
Not on a date. We don't have that yet, but they meet up with Quan, and they say, "Oh, Quan, what are you doing around here?" And Quan says, "Oh, I've left something at Jin's place." And they go, "Ooh, who's Jin?" Now, you're all probably, if we say this, and you're listening to us and you're watching the show along with us, you'll probably say, well, Jin is quite clearly
the commander. Because we've been calling him Jin.
Because we've been calling him Jin the whole time because it's simpler and it's shorter. But of course,
it's 3 letters.
Everyone actually calls him either commander or by his last name, because this is both Japan and this is Japan in like kind of a quasi-military organization. So people only know him by his family name.
I probably think that's a bigger deal in the Japanese translations because I think while he is Commander Kunigi, I think he is called Jin a couple of times in English. Whereas I think in your one they will have just called him Commander Kunigi.
Yeah, they've always just called him. I forget how you say commander actually in Japanese, but yeah, they call him Commander or Commander Kunigi. And they of course don't know Jin, and they're all like, "Oh, what's going on?
Secret boyfriend, secret boyfriend, secret boyfriend."
Well, no, they're not going secret boyfriend. If anyone, the people who are going secret boyfriend the hardest are the bridge dudes.
Team Quan!
Who are Team Quan?
We should call them Team Quan from now on.
Yes, I was going to say, because we could call them...
I'm trying to remember an interaction.
We could call them Gomi and Yomada, but I was either going to call them bridge dudes, but you say Team Quan. Yeah, let's call them Team Quan.
I like Team Quan because I'm trying to remember any interactions later in the series which doesn't revolve around them loving Quan so hard. And I don't remember any of them.
They love Quan so hard. If anyone remembers that scene from Ouran High School Host Club anime, where where one of the characters cosplays as Quan, they even appear in the background of that scene.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
Yeah. By the way, they don't actually do that, but I'm hoping to convince people to go and watch Ouran High School Host Club again. It's made by the same people. That's why they could just reference Quan.
Yeah. No, this is the thing. I remembered that she was in it when you said, and I was like, I'll take your word for that, because I remember she's in it, but Christ, Host Club's been a while. I should watch Host Club again. It was quite good, I think, for the pinkest, floweriest show I've ever seen. But it was funny.
Yes, that's another... For those of you who don't know, Ouran High School Host Club is another Bones show and makes a RahXephon reference a few times because you have a character who's big into cosplay and she dresses up like Quan a lot. But meanwhile, so the bridge dudes are being...
the Monty Python song, but with the people going to Quan a lot.
Team Quan are being irritating and annoying Kim, and...
Who doesn't annoy Kim?
Indeed.
I'm pretty sure if you gave Kim the right to retune the world, that there'd be no people left apart from her and maybe her love interest of I can't remember what's it.
Major.
The major. I couldn't remember his rank for a second there.
Yeah, Soichi.
Yeah, it's just her and the major and some really comfortable sofas. And that's the world.
Kim certainly pulls some very nice faces in this scene. She pulls a face in the early one where she's irritated them, and then another one near to the end.
And again, this episode actually is much better animated. I was hoping that it wasn't that they've changed artists and it's going to be like that for a while. No, the bad animation does not persist from episode 9.
Makoto turns up and is Makoto at everybody. He's just sort of like... He's just another Captain Bringdown bit of him turning up and being more irritating in order to deflect attention away from Ikutsuki. And remembering, didn't Ikutsuki, nearly kill the lady who's in love with him 2 episodes ago? Oh, well. Makoto's being a jerk now.
The thing is, though, we almost have got to the point where it's not even worth saying it. We could just put, from every episode from now on, assume that at some point Makoto walked up and was a dick to everyone.
Yeah. If
we don't mention it, it probably happened, but we felt it wasn't worth pointing out. It's like saying the sun rose in this episode of RahXephon.
The Major comes in and explains how he's taking over for the day because Jin's away. And then...
Commander Kunigi's away. The reference won't work.
Yes, that's true. He says Commander Kunigi's away, and then meanwhile, Megumi and Ayato mention how Quan was saying she needs to go and grab something over at Jin's. And everyone's like, oh my god, who's Jin? And he's spending time with Jin? And she goes to Jin's place.
You mean the commander?
Yeah,
the commander. Oh, yeah. Did you not know that Quan spends 2 or 3 nights a week at the commander's?
And everyone's like, what?
She's there at night?
Indeed.
2 or 3 nights a week?
Kim continues to be sensible because, of course, she's the person who realises that Jin is, of course, the commander.
But no, even when they find out it's the commander, everyone, Team Quan freak the fuck out just at the idea that Quan goes somewhere after dark.
Indeed.
Because of after dark reasons.
Kim then also asks, the thing that really everyone should have been asking for the last few episodes, which is so who does Quan report to? And yeah, it turns out she's not involved really with Terra. She's not really involved with the military. And they're like, yeah.
Or the Federation.
Or the Federation.
Anyone. She is literally just the sister of some guy who works here.
Yeah.
Who apparently has got the agreement that he can use his lab to experiment on his sister. It's basically a Firefly arrangement. I will come and work for you, but part of my payment is I can use your fancy lab to test things on my sister.
Exactly. Well, the Major does sort of explain it. He says, she's kind of like Ayato, as if to hammer the point from the previous episode down more. That,
to be fair,
she's
right,
someone of unique skills.
Well, no, he says, oh, she's kind of like Ayato. He doesn't report to anyone. He's not really part of any military chain or any other civilian chain. He's just a guy that hangs around here because of his skill set. Ayato should really just step forward and go, I kill all the Dolems!
Kill all the
What
Dolems!
the fuck is she doing?
I do not just hang around. Meanwhile, she stands around in her underwear, being mysterious, and randomly grabbing me.
Yeah, it's just a case of, what possible skills is she bringing to this organisation? At which point they turn around and go, well, apparently she can talk jargon at a level 8 grade.
Yep. Incredibly good at talking jargon.
Speaking of which, didn't you have a RahXephon haiku you'd invented that you wish to share?
The RahXephon haiku, certainly. I don't think I didn't invent this, if you're thinking of it.
Ah, right.
The RahXephon haiku I got from the TV tropes page. But yes, if you would all like to learn the RahXephon haiku, it goes like this: Giant robot sings. Confused teen looks for purpose. A clever puzzle.
I like it, it's good, but it makes as much sense as all of Quan's fucking dialogue.
Yep.
They could have had her speak in pointless haikus the entire show, and it would have made no notable difference to any of the scenes she's in.
I completely agree.
To be fair, she could have thrown darts at the dictionary, and I think it would have made no real difference to the scene she's in.
Then, for some reason, Ayato and Megumi managed to make it round to Itsuki's house for a bit of chatting, and Itsuki's like, I made Quan play this music at these flowers, and they got much better compared to the regular flowers. And I'm just having Ayato listen to it so that stuff happens.
Well, the thing is, what he says is that they're completely different from the original strain, and this is the original strain, and these are the... Could you see a difference?
Yeah, the original strain was all weak and fiddly, and the new one was much more flowering. That's all. Right. They just flowered a lot more.
Okay, fair enough, because I honestly couldn't really tell what the difference was.
It's not a huge difference. You'd expect something a bit more amazing. If they turned blue...
No, yeah, I was expecting him to say, when we played this Moulian-based music, they all turned blue. These are red roses. Oh, I'm obsessed with flowers being colours. I do think that your response to that should be, what the you're wasting my time and your own.
Yeah.
You are the lead scientist at this... last best hope for humanity.
And you're randomly playing music at stuff.
Flowers, I know. Well, I think the implication is that Quan was playing it and the flowers were just around. But yeah, it's just fucking stupid. And also it's then a case of, you couldn't have just brought me this music to, the place we all work. Why do we have to come to your house?
By the way, they made sure to know that from Terra, you have to get a boat to get there.
Yeah, and also it's a case of, if they were listening to Quan play live, yeah, go to Quan's house. She doesn't officially work there. She might not have turned up otherwise. But Itsuki works there. The time that Itsuki is in his house with Ayato and with Megumi, they should all be in the fucking main area. They should either be on the bridge bit or in the lab. But to be fair, as we've pointed out, that this is a real oddball bunch that apparently is the last best hope for humanity. And... yeah, Makoto, that was when we were saying Makoto's being Makoto. He actually just comes out and says it. You people are the front line force for humanity against the Mu.
Yeah.
You people. The Quan fan club, the idiots over here, and the Ayato, and the other people who just don't seem to turn up to work.
Like that. The Quan fan club, you got a bunch of idiots, and worst of all, Ayato.
Ayato. To be fair, Ayato isn't even... He's there for necessity. He actually has a purpose. But no, all the others, you're just like, we've got the young and inexperienced idiots here. I mean, for fuck's sake. It did sort of bother me that he's dragged them all the way to his home.
Meanwhile, Jin sits at his home and he listens to... I think it's pretty obvious. He listens to the voice of a young girl, which is pretty obvious it's his daughter.
Yeah, I think so. It's quite reminiscent of the Kim episode of the letter from your family who are dead now.
Yeah.
They get read out. And it's the letter of, we love you, we're going to be... This is a letter designed deliberately, so if something happens to us, you're going to feel really awful for the rest of your days. Yeah, this is the most guilt trip, miserable letter that you could ever send. Because it's not even just a letter, this is actually a video that she sent him. It's not even just an
It's a
audio
video,
message.
it's not even audio, that's true. We don't see his daughter, but it is actually a video, isn't it?
It's basically, his daughter goes on the video and goes, you've neglected me for such a long time, but I'll forgive you. I'll still love you. Please come to my next recital. I've got a present for you. Oh God, I want to see you, Daddy. Why don't you love me?
Yeah.
And it's just a case of, all will be forgiven if you just see me one more time. Unless, of course, I die shortly after this is recorded, and you never see me again, and you feel horribly guilty.
Well, let's wait on that, because as far as we're aware, then that's a recent videotape.
I never got that feeling. I realise that I'm, as you're going, hey, you might be spoiling here for the very late part of the episode, but even the first time I saw this, I never got the impression where he's so fucking miserable all the time, and she's like, come in. Yeah, it never occurred to me that might be real, nowadays.
Oh, then that's cool then. I mean, if you think that, then yeah, sure. I'm fine with leaving it there. I was worried about
If other people think that was clear, I apologise for spoiling. It just didn't occur to me that it was like that.
They've hopefully watched the episode.
Well, all the way through, regardless. Yeah.
So Jin then does the obvious thing that you have to do when you've just seen a video like this and you're heading off to meet somebody. He becomes a sad man in a French movie.
This is the best animation.
Yeah, Jin sort of walks around with his coat over his shoulders, blowing in the wind, sunglasses, just looking sad and walking around. It is very well done.
There is an even better one later in the episode that isn't worth bringing up at the time because nothing happens in it. It's him walking up a hill, but by this point it's night, so his shades are off, and it's just, I'm walking up a hill in the wind.
I've got something to say about that one, but yes, at the moment he's walking around the city looking all, and he goes to buy a watch.
A watch that costs the average gross national budget of small countries.
And Futagami comes up behind him going, ooh, that's a pretty swanky watch. Hey, show me something similar. And they're like, well, okay. And then he looks at them and you see his face contort knowledge of how much everything costs. And he's like, maybe not. And then walks away. Yeah, he ends up, instead of buying the watch that, I think, how many digits? He counts like 8 digits on the price of the watch. It's either 6 or 8. That'll be in yen, though, still.
Yeah, I know it'll be in yen, but still, 6 digits is still a lot of yen. Or if it's 8 digits, it's an obscene amount of yen.
Yeah, 8 digits I think would be getting to super ridiculous. It can't be that.
Yeah, it must be 6 then. So, yeah, the thing is, though, he settles for, instead of buying a 6-digit yen watch, he gets a small stuffed squirrel.
Yes, he buys a small stuffed squirrel.
Probably cost him less than a couple of quid.
Which didn't Jin help him find? He said, thanks for helping me pick out something for my niece.
Yeah, thanks for helping me pick out this. I mean, Jin, you're really, really good at the whole knowing where soft plushies are sold in this town.
Yeah. Jin has the whole market cornered. I know the whole soft plushie market. If you want to, I could even get you a Beanie Baby.
Ooh, could be a limited edition one and everything.
But to thank him for this, Futagami pretty much lists Jin's backstory to him, which is again another example of Futagami sort of saying, hey, you know all this stuff that you know? I'm going to hint heavily that I know it. And then the other person, quite rightly, then goes, well, yeah, then I have nothing else to say. Because, this the backstory that he states is that, one, the US fired first on the Mu when they turned up, which apparently caused some kind of retaliatory strike. It's a bit vague, but that's why now the US is kind of not a shadow of its former self.
No, hasn't got much of a presence, I think, with what they were saying.
Well, yeah,
we're not sure if that means they were attacked or it's just the Japanese went, the fuck's wrong with you? We are handling this. Not you warmongering, trigger-happy idiots.
Oh, that's a bit harsh. The Japanese one made it sound like, they'd had some sort of retaliation by the Mu and were quite crippled. You said, don't have a presence anymore. He said sort of like a shell of its former self in the subtitles. Yeah.
See, in the English, I just got the impression that it was why they weren't taking part in, the task force.
They weren't strong-arming everyone. Well, you didn't see a lot of,
Well, particularly because the time it was made, you still got quite a military presence in Japan by the US.
That's true. You'd probably wonder why, especially since they're in the southern islands, there isn't more Americans hanging around. So it's a good reason why we don't see a lot of American ships. But it also states that there was a top brass general who pinned firing a fusion bomb which Japan shouldn't have even had. Which is kind of weird. That's weird. Sort of like the Moos invade and Japan goes, God, we of all people should hate nuclear weapons the most. Let's use our nuclear weapon.
On one of our own cities as well.
On one of your own cities, yeah. The Moos appeared, take over Tokyo, and a high-ranking official in the SDF gets a fusion bomb dropped on them. And
Actually, it was the NDF.
The NDF, National Defence Force.
It was the National Defence Force.
I assume it means exactly the same thing. They're just changing the thing for reasons.
Yeah, I know, but we don't want to tar the SDF with nuking their own country.
That's true, I guess, okay.
We
So
want
the
to
fictional
tar
NDF...
the fictional NDF with nuking their own country.
The fictional NDF, yes, drops the bomb, and the superior blames his inferior. I wonder who the inferior could have been.
Yeah. We even then, if any doubt was in your mind, have a little flashback to him going, I don't want to push the button that kills everyone.
It's sort of like, what the hell are you doing? And the guy, really kind of rather cookie-cutter, what's the word? Not American, what am I talking about? Sort of...
Well, it's the American style that we're used to from TV, but... Yeah,
it's not, it's
general.
Oh yeah, sort of fictional, the sort of overbearing general. I wouldn't say American necessarily, but the soldier who says, orders are more important for a soldier. You gotta follow your orders, so follow my orders.
It's a huffy mustache general, basically.
He says, what I love is, at the end of all this, Jin sort of just doesn't give anything up, after having essentially his whole sort of dark past stated back to him. This guy says. And Futagami says, man, I can only really afford to buy this stuffed toy for my niece. You wouldn't happen to know where I could get any extra work, would you? And Jin says, I could find you something. Where? In Terra? And he goes, no, in, the Earth Federation intelligence. Oh! Which I love, because that is a straight... You can either interpret that as him saying, wow, you're a good investigator, you should be in intelligence, or, considering how the conversation had been, Jin straight up going, I know you're a fucking intelligence officer. You're quite clearly not a person involved in the media. You're an effing spy.
Well, the thing is, that in the English, he actually says, I could get you a job where I work. And the guy goes, what, you mean in Terra? And he goes, no, in the Earth Federation. So, in the English, it actually sounds like Jin's going, I'm the spy!
Yeah, okay.
Which I thought was weird, because I was just like, I was just going, I don't think Jin does secretly work for the Federation.
No, he doesn't.
I have no knowledge of Jin secretly working for anyone. I mean, we did have him working with the Baham people briefly when they were looking at a giant rock.
But for those of you who haven't watched the rest of the series, it's not a big spoiler and secret tip. Barham's on everybody. Barham's involved with everybody. Saying someone's involved with Barham, thus they're involved with something else, is like saying, something's made of atoms.
Yeah, well, to be fair, you listening at home are unaware of this, but the company that you work for, that's actually owned
by
the Barham Foundation.
Yeah.
So I'm afraid that even the fictional corporation has got roots everywhere, even in the real world.
Even if you're a sole proprietorship.
Yeah, you don't know it, but you are secretly owned by the Barham Foundation. Actually, it's an institute, isn't it? It's the Earth Federation. Or is it a foundation or an institute? It'll come up.
They say foundation, but anyway. So after this, we then cut to Ayato and Megumi. Hey Hugh, Ayato and Megumi in this scene.
Are they on a date?
Are they on a date? Yeah.
I think they're on a date.
I think they're on a date. Apparently they're not, because they yell immediately the moment Hakura and Elvi turn up.
They both go pink, and they keep yelling. And this happens like 4 bloody times.
Yeah, this happens way too many times in this episode.
We're not on a date!
But they turn around and they see Hakura and Elvi looking way cool. And Megumi uses her expert nose to deduce that they were off having yakiniku again, but they haven't been drinking. But I think Hakura and Elvi look way cool in this thing. They got some cool clothes on. Trying to give the Major a run for his money.
The thing is, though, I do like the way they look, but Megumi's interaction with them here is weird.
Well, you mean the bit where she just runs up and sniffs Elvi?
Goes up and sniffs them, and just like, Elvi's not been drinking that much, and you've been... And because I didn't really recognise what she was saying, I think you could easily change this so she walks up and goes, you guys smell like sex.
Yeah.
And Elvi hasn't even been drinking that much yet. It's just like, it's not only when we're drunk, it's also to pass the time at weekends.
Yeah, because, they're both so alone.
We're so alone.
I'm up for believing that.
I'm fine if Haruka and Elvi have casual sex when they're not in relationships. Yeah, fine. It doesn't make any real difference to the story, and it will make you feel better about some of the scenes.
One sadly missed break in this is that Elvi sort of turns up and kind of drags... She drags Ayato off so that Harakiri can talk to Megumi, but she sort of basically says, "Hey, take me out on a date," and a reaction from Haruka would have been nice.
Yeah, but she takes him to the arcade.
Just before we see what they're playing, we see that Haruka tries to explain stuff to Megumi, but Megumi's answer to her trying to explain things to her and make her more aware to like, "Oh yeah, well I bet you know everything."
Yeah.
And I was just... Yeah.
Is it easy being green? Because I hear it's not easy being green, Megumi.
Yeah.
It's just a case, it's like a thing of, Megumi, there's a bomb implanted in your head, and there's only one code that'll disarm it. Do you know the code? I do. Of course you'd know the code.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Let her explain things. Let her tell you things.
She did say 2 episodes ago in that Christmas episode, though, that she can't get along well with her sister for some reason. And she talks to her, she just gets annoyed.
It's like a case of, hey, we found out this interesting thing. Did you know the commander's first name? Yeah. I've been working with him for years, and I worked in the intelligence division. I mean, if Haruka was the chimney sweep of terror or something, maybe she wouldn't know. But she's worked directly with the commander for years. It would be bloody odd if she didn't know his first name, particularly as I believe she's gone to the cherry blossoms thing.
Yeah.
And if you're going to go round to someone's house and look at their trees fall, then, yeah, you're probably going to know their fucking name.
Always make sure to know the name of the person whose blossoms I watch fall. LV then beats Ayato at a flight combat simulation game, which makes sense considering she's a pilot. But Ayato is pretty good, because he's learnt how to control a robot.
Giant mech. Yeah.
And we get another
sense.
little thing of LV not liking having a kid fight for her organisation, because of course he probably thinks it's a bit, immoral, forcing children to fight for you.
Kind of is.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to get much of the way of backlash if we say that we are not in favour of
child soldiers
enslaving children and making them fight for you.
Yeah. So yes, it's a nice little bit again of LV sort of, in a sort of rough way, trying to stop Ayato from getting in danger. But then we cut to another scene, and again, Hugh, do you think now Ayato and Megumi, do you think they're out on a date?
I think they are. I think by this point, because they've even gone away with other people and then reformed into their date-based unit. I think they're on a date.
I think anyone who saw them, especially considering they're carrying flowers, would think that they'd be on a date.
Yeah, I know. I think if they'd be only more on a date if they were holding hands or potentially inside one another at some point. That's the only thing that could make this more of a date. But no, apparently it's still not a date. They're quite willing to yell this at us again.
They see Jin boarding a big old sort of ocean liner that's / a restaurant.
That is a posh restaurant.
That is a posh restaurant.
The sort of restaurant that can afford to just sail their ship round the island just for the view.
Yeah. And Fujigami, by the way, who was the guy who asked them if they were on a date, just really I forgot to say that, informs them that it's Jin's daughter's birthday, and you should probably, give her some flowers or something, is what they mention. They go, "Ooh, we happen to have flowers." So before we see what happens later on, we then immediately move to Jin in the restaurant, who then meets up with somebody.
Just for a second, though, those flowers, you're right, they have been carrying these flowers that they got off Itsuki.
Yeah.
So Itsuki says, "Hey, I've got this wonderful experiment that I've been doing that seems to serve no purpose about flowers and music, and what, you want them? Yeah, sure, I don't need them. Samples, evidence, who gives a shit? Take the flowers."
They're cut flowers, they're going to rot away.
Yeah. They weren't cut, though. He cut them. They were growing.
They were growing
in his house.
He's got loads of them. He doesn't need to worry about losing a few for a bouquet.
Yeah.
So, of course, Jin now has this conversation, which if you thought Jin's daughter was alive, I can imagine it must be quite heartbreaking to turn out, oh no, wait, this isn't his daughter. This is his, I assume, ex-wife.
Probably ex-wife, we have to think, yeah.
We kind of assume it's his ex-wife. Turns out Jin's daughter is dead, and she died in the nuclear explosion, which Jin was blamed for.
Which he probably did push the button for.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't his order.
Oh yeah, he pushed the button for it. And, let's not forget Jin was publicly blamed for it. And even then before that, we heard that Jin was so involved in his work, he didn't pay a lot of attention to his daughter.
I wasn't sure if they'd broken up before or after the death of his daughter, but it did seem like that...
She says she's leaving Japan, and she's changing her name.
Yeah, which means that she's not going to have his name anymore.
She's not going to have his name anymore, which can actually mean in Japan, of course, because your last name is determined by whose family register you're in. That of course means that could carry the extra meaning that she's either just full on divorcing him and returning to her own family, or getting married to someone else.
Yeah, I got the implication of that as well, and that's why when she puts a folder on the desk, I thought it was divorce papers. But
yeah.
We then established that it is in fact the final piece of music that their daughter wrote for him. And I just want to say a couple of things. Firstly, her daughter at 10 wrote that piece of music. That's fucking impressive.
That's damn impressive.
Prodigy.
Well, no, that's the reason why she said, she was saying, she does straight up say your daughter had a gift and you never got to see her appreciate it.
One thing, I posted you. The thing is, right, their daughter died years ago. This is like 13 years ago. And it's a case of, hey, I've had for 13, because the implication is that she's only sent the music to him really recently, like in the last couple of months. So she's had this music for like 13 years and then thinks, you know what, she wrote it for her father deserves to hear it. Don't falter on this, being angry, blaming him, da-da-da. What I do say is then, why send him everything but the last bloody page?
Yeah, that's cruel. And then right at the end she's sort of like, here's the last page, now you can finally listen to all of it. It is interesting, she does say, did you actually learn to read it? And he goes, well, no, I really had no urge to learn to read it.
I don't change. I'm the same as I always was.
She was like, yes, well, that's why I hate you. He also gets something else that we don't see, isn't it? Which I assume might be a picture. Well, we have a very short scene of Ayato and Megumi wondering if they did the right thing, sending the flowers and the little squirrel stuffed thing to Jin. Which, sadly... I
actually felt bad for the reporter, because the reporter... What the fuck? Why is he sending the squirrel he spent ages picking out?
He has no niece. He's a spy. He's clearly lying.
Yeah, I know.
He did it to hang out with Jin, because he's got a big bro crush on him.
Hey, bro, I'm really interested. Could you show me your, secret files? Should go back to your place and look at some files. That is my line with women I believe are spies. It's how I've successfully dated spies over the years, is to basically ask them to come back to my room and look at all my secret documents. Eventually they leave, though, when they realise that my job's rather boring and mundane. All the secret documents in the world don't make business loans more interesting.
That's very true.
Once we've established that, the reporter is probably a liar in all ways. What happens next, then?
Right. Well, the next bit has that really cool image that you remember of Jin walking, and he's all cool and windy in the night. But I always notice that he's walking up this hill, and only just in the background, with no indication that it ever docked anywhere, because it's floating in the middle, is the ship restaurant, which makes me think, did he just walk across the water? So like, sir, there's... Sir, it's just water, you can't go out there. Don't worry, I'm Jin Kanugi. I can walk on water. I'm just that cool. And the water just freezes as he walks over it.
To be fair, right, that ship very probably does just do a circuit. Because why would you... If it's a restaurant ship that's in the main area and it's all posh and fancy, odds are everyone's going to have parked near the restaurant and it's just going to do a loop of the island for the scenic stuff and everyone gets served at the same time and then they dock and everyone fucks off. So, it makes absolutely no fucking sense that he managed to get off. I do think he probably commandeers a lifeboat or some shit.
Yeah.
It's just, this is an emergency. What is it? I have to go up the hill, and the wind right now is perfect. It's an aesthetic emergency.
Yeah. Well, he does look way cool.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes to a graveyard, and he meets up with Kwon, and gives the last page of the music to her. Kwon is now finally able to play the whole piece of music at his daughter's grave, and he lays the flowers on his daughter's grave, along with her picture, which I assume is the other thing that his ex-wife gave him, and says, happy birthday.
So why he doesn't have any pictures of his daughter is just odd to me, again.
There are some people who do that. I remember, if you want to add another Neon Genesis Evangelion reference, I mean, there's no pictures of Yuri. And that's
pictures exist, other people have pictures, but...
Not
Gendo.
Not Gendo. Not Gendo, in the same way he probably just couldn't bear to look at her anymore and got rid of all the pictures. In the same way Gendo burnt all of the pictures of Yuri.
I think I've heard in either on other anime or general Japanese stuff of people removing all the pictures but keeping them in, the shrine that they keep in the house.
Oh yeah, the little you can get a that's occasionally a thing for like Buddhist funerals or generally in Japanese funerals in general. You have a black framed photograph of them with black ribbon over the top.
And I have
corners.
seen people not have any other pictures apart from that before.
I can understand why, perhaps.
Well, if you're going to have that, as
Seems a bit useless. Have a cool picture, not just them sort of just standing there. Have a picture of them sort of riding a dolphin while shooting an AK-47 or...
We have to now get you a picture that's awesome enough to justify putting up after you die.
No, I agree. I think
now
that's what we need.
Everyone should do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mr. White. You've been diagnosed with terminal lung cancer. Well, I've got two options here. I could either become a meth dealer, or I could take the most awesome funeral picture the world has ever known. And it's then the last picture of him at the funeral is him riding a rocket while shooting space Nazis.
On the moon.
On the moon.
America!
Yeah! This is so much cooler than getting a hat!
Anyway, that
yeah.
So back to the incredibly moving scene, the incredibly moving final scene of RahXephon. That's basically it, and then the episode.
There
ends.
is one more thing, which was that we have a zoom in on.
We have zoom in on the picture so we can see it, can't we?
Well, actually, no. We have a zoom in on the bird that Commander Kuniki keeps in. I was going to say because the bird will come up later, and not mentioning it would be a bit of an omission. So yeah. Commander Kuniki keeps a bird in his office. This bird is named after his daughter, and he deliberately hasn't bought a mate for it, because no bird's good enough for my little daughter/bird.
Indeed, it's called Michiru, so his daughter's name was Michiru.
Poor Michiru. Nuked by her own father.
Important enough to be mentioned again in the DVD insert. Apparently, Vice Commander Yagumo often feeds it. Yagumo. Very interestingly drawn bird. Its beak's blue as well. There's like no separation between its body and its beak. It's a almost completely blue bird.
And because it's blue, Itsuki would of course comment on the potential Moolian aspect of it.
Yes, of course, Itsuki would immediately comment on it.
Why doesn't Commander Kunigi have a red bird?
That's because Itsuki's a jerk.
Yeah. Say, hey, Commander, why have you got a blue bird? Shouldn't you have killed that bird by now?
And buried it under your tree.
If Itsuki had his way, the commander would basically wander around with a couple of pistols in his belts, and any time he saw blue, he'd just shoot whatever the hell it is. There'd be an awful lot of wasted bullets in the ocean, I think, when we went to work.
Or the sky.
Or the sky, yes. You should have Commander Kunigi, one point at the sky, one point at the sea. Every boat ride, he's just there like, ah!
But ignoring this stupid
Random
tangent we've got
segue.
ourselves into, this was a very good episode.
The character episodes are the best ones, I think. The ones where they focus on one character the whole way through, they give it a bit of backstory, there's a bit of growth. It fleshes out the world and the people we're with very nicely, I always think. It's one thing RahXephon does very well.
Jin, being a very guarded person, it's nice to finally learn stuff about him, and he continues to be way cool. And of course, George Nakata, as always, is an amazing voice actor, and he gives him the proper amount of, like, a very good mix of, like, strength and vulnerability throughout this whole episode. How did, considering this is his episode, how did John Grimaldon do for you?
No, I thought he was very good. He's consistent. He certainly gets the right emotions across, but he also gets just the right amount of despair. Because I do think there's a bit of dialogue in this that we didn't mention at the time, but it's when he's at the grave, Jin says, "Are you lonely? Don't worry, I'll be with you soon."
Yeah.
Jin basically doesn't expect to live much longer. He has a purpose. The purpose will be complete, and then he can die. You get the feeling that he's expecting that he'll either die in the war with the Mu, or if the war's over, he's going to take his own life, to be honest.
Because of all the stuff he's had to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do remember he said...
You'd understand that. He nuked the city with his own daughter in it.
But it was very different, actually, in the Japanese one. He says, it's the same thing. He says, are you lonely? I'm sorry about that. I've got too much, I have too much I still have to do, is what he says in the Japanese one. So he's sort of like, I've got stuff I still need to take care of.
Yeah. No, he does say that in this as well, but he says, I'll be joining you soon. There's just a few things I need to do first.
Be mean to this 14-year-old. You need to be mean to this 16-year-old a few more times, 17-year-old.
Yeah, he seems like he's getting some sort of self-esteem.
I'm not going to have
that. We can't have that.
Yeah. I'm going to walk up to him, look at his watch, and moan about how the time's wrong.
He's just going to walk up. Looks like you still haven't set your watch to the correct time, Mr. Kamina. And just like, but it is 12:47 on the 4th of February. He goes, yes, but you're 3 seconds slow. You're living in the past. You're fat. You disgust me.
You disgust. Right. So yes, a much more positive one to end the episode on.
I'd agree, and it's also very self-contained. I've got nothing really that didn't just sort of come up naturally in that. I've got no extra, we should talk about this notes about that one either.
Yeah.
I mean, is there anything you wanted to say about the episode in general?
No, I've said everything. Like I said, I just wanted to add that I really like the voice acting.
No, yeah, absolutely. It's well done. And like Makoto turning up and being a dick, you can generally assume that Lewis wants to thank the voice actors for their very hard efforts at work.
Well, no, I do. More is the fact that it's one of my very favourite ever voice actors, like I said, when he first turned up.
No, he is very good. Both the English and I have heard the Japanese a bit as well.
That was episodes 9 and 10.
10, which does mark the 5th one of these we've done of what will probably be 12.
12 or 13.
How long is this show? Is this show 26 or is it 24?
Wow, you're really revealing how little you remember of RahXephon now.
It's 10 years!
It's 26 episodes, so we will have
26.
13.
We'll have 13 of these, and then probably we will have one for the film.
And that comes to the end of episode 5. So, until next time, Hugh, tap your barometer so it's set to the right pressure.
That one doesn't really work, I think.